What's going on, everyone? So, Sydney Prescott, right? We appears to have confirmation that Scream 8 is going to be in the works. Production Weekly, there's a little screenshot going around that shows Scream 8 on the list of films coming up, right? So, with that, talked about there being a cliffhanger, right? Talked about that actually numerous times. But one of the things that I want to talk about in this video is Sidney Prescott, right? I don't believe that they will kill Sidney Prescott, but I wouldn't hate the idea of them leading us to believe that they just did, right? Like, so if we do get a Scream 8, it would make a lot of sense to have the film end in a way that bleeds into Scream 8, that generates the buzz and the hype and excitement, and then we ultimately, get our answer in that upcoming film, but leave us in a way to where we're all like, there is no way they just did that. Right. And it could be something like full-fledged where like there's a bunch of ghost faces. They just like take her or something like that. We're like, oh, no way. Like, are they going to kill her? Right. Or it could be something where, maybe everyone leaves. She stays back. You get like a Dr. Loomis type thing from Halloween. And, you just see her get stabbed and start screaming. Right. And we're just like, dude, there's no way they just killed Sydney. Right. And especially the way Scream 5 and 6 went, where like people can be brutally just ripped to shreds and just magically heal like they're Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, I still wouldn't buy her being dead, but I do think you could do something that would be clever. And look, it's not the first time that they've thought about it, right? Like they've wanted, and there have been talks about killing Sydney or leaving the audience to believe that they killed Sydney, dating back to 96. There was conversation about like, should we end this in like a tragic way type thing, and Sydney ends up dying or something like that, right? And Scream 4, they had several ideas on killing Sydney or leaving it open-ended to where you think Sydney is dead, right? So the idea of killing Sydney or having you believe that they killed Sydney is not new to the franchise as far as like ideas in the background. Now, look, there's a million ideas that get thrown around and talked about and all that stuff, right? Like if every idea was canon, then, like this would be a very convoluted franchise. But, at what point do they start to take things that were ideas in the past and go, hey, let's implement it in this film, right? Like you saw Scream 6 do that with several things, from, early killer reveal to, like they've all with 3 killers, right? Like it's something that Scream has always teased and talked about. And, like the cult route, we might finally be getting the cult route. That's something that was talked about back in Scream 3, right? It actually became the TV show The Following, right? Like, so, there's a lot of things that were talked about and potentials in past that ultimately became the real thing, later on down the road in Scream movies. So they could do something like that. Obviously I don't think that they could kill Sydney, right? I'm a bit old school, I guess, where I'm like, no one's safe in a horror movie. Every horror franchise has killed their main final girl or main character at some point. So I would be okay with it if it's done in a proper manner, right? If you just kill her just to kill her, I'm gonna be like, well, that was stupid, right? But I understand that a large majority of people would probably lose their mind, right? There's a lot of people that are Scream is beloved because of Sydney. And in many ways for me, that's the case too. But I understand, like I've seen Laurie die 20 times. I've seen plenty of characters die 20 times, right? So it's not something where it's like, oh man, if they killed her, like that's it. I'm never watching a Scream movie again, right? That's it. Scream will never see my dollar again. Nah, they'll get my dollar every time. But again, it's not something that I necessarily want or anything like that. But I don't think that they can kill Sydney. I think there would be enough backlash and blow. I mean, there was enough backlash and blow for the Dewey thing. I think there'd be the Sydney thing. I think would probably be crazy. But I would love to see them kind of play with the emotions, right? Because again, it's such a great way to create and generate buzz for your upcoming Scream movie and Scream 8 and a potential trilogy, especially if she's tore up, right? Like, and maybe, Tatum or somebody goes back because they haven't seen their mom in a while and she's alive and she's like hanging on by a thread and they like rush her to the hospital, right? I mean, they could go the Halloween route, right? Like, I mean, Halloween 2 even. What I think is funny is Jamie Lee Curtis after Halloween 2 said she'd never do another film where she's just in the hospital the whole time. She did it in Halloween Kills, right? Like, so again, like you could do something like that to where, because I do think at some point what we're going to see through this trilogy or whatever, or 2 films or whatever, probably going to be a trilogy, but what I think will end up happening is I think you'll start to see the transition. Like Sydney's in the forefront this film. You got Tatum, right? And I think as these films start to progress, I think you're going to start to see more of that transition, right? So it's like Sydney and Tatum, and then, Scream 8, you'll see kind of a little bit of this, and then Scream 9, you'll really start to see this. Not saying that Sydney won't be in the film, but I think she'll be kind of relegated further and further back, and Tatum will kind of be elevated more to the forefront, and she'll end up eventually being kind of the face of Scream going forward. That's my guess. So that way they could do another 6 films after this trilogy if they want to, with Tatum as the main face, as the main focus. But, however they approach it, right? I obviously want it done well. I want the execution to be proper. I want it to make sense to the story. I don't want them, again, I don't want them to do something just for the sake of doing it, right? It's got to be, because you can do stuff where it's like, okay, that was stupid. Or like, yeah, like, why did, like, that didn't make any sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want anything like that. But I would be okay with, us, if you wanted to leave like the cliffhanger, right? Where it's just like Sydney's lifeless body. And we're like, and Ghostface is like standing over her or something, and it's like, oh no, they just killed Sydney Prescott. No way. And then the mask comes off, and then that's that. And we're all just like, what just happened here? Right? Like, like I'd be okay with something like that. I think that could be potentially fun. I think that's something that could, kind of keep us all engaged, keep us all focused, keep us all like on the edge of our seats. Like, oh, did they just do that? Did they really just do that? There's no way they just killed Sydney, and then now we got to wait a year or whatever until the next Scream movie. But that's going to generate buzz. It's going to generate excitement. It's going to generate, content creators like myself and the fans and everybody talking about like, oh my God, did they just really do this? Or did they really just do that? Right? Like it's pre-marketing for the movie that you're planning on making, right? And if you're really going to do a Scream 8, you might as well have something that bleeds and transitions into that film to kind of keep people excited, keep people entertained and engaged. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? First off, would you be okay with them actually killing Sydney? Is that something that you're like, absolutely not? They cannot kill Sydney by any stretch of the imagination. 2, would you be okay with them doing something where, Sydney's perceived to be dead, but they don't actually kill her, right? It's just like, it's the cliffhanger route where it's like, oh, no way they just killed Sydney. Like, is that something you'd be okay with? Or are you like, no, like, I don't even want the illusion that they just killed Sydney Prescott. I don't even want the thought that they killed Sydney Prescott. Again, however you feel either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.